Hey guys, what is going on? Joel back with you, and welcome to Back in the Day. I usually don't do my unboxings on Saturdays. I know usually that's something that's reserved for Wednesdays, but as it turns out, my wife actually ended up going with a friend of hers down to Lancaster on a road trip to go pick up a puppy for her friend's mom. So I've kind of had the house to myself today a little bit. Just kind of putzed around the house a little bit and ended up I did some housework this morning, did some cleaning, and then went over to the Y and lifted. When I came back and after I was getting dinner and stuff ready, I figured, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and make a video. Funny enough, I did make one on Wednesday. I started to anyways, and my camera died. And the game I had started to do the video on, I decided, I was like, I wasn't really feeling it. Mainly because I was kind of like trying to rush through it because I knew that the camera was going to die, so I was trying to really plow through it and see if I could get it done in the amount of time I had. But the camera died, and I wasn't really feeling it with that game. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do one different. And I don't know, I was looking through all my different games. I was like, all right, which one haven't I unboxed yet? And I thought, you know what, I haven't done Final Fantasy Mystic Quest and haven't done a Super Nintendo game in a little while. I think it's been a couple of months. I think the last one I did was Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I did that one right before Halloween. So yeah, I figured, what the hell, let's do Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. I just found out about this game. I shouldn't say just found out, but kind of in a way. It's been a few years. See, we actually didn't get a computer and we didn't get our laptop or the internet until about 2010 or 2011. So I mean, it's been a little while. And it wasn't until that time when we finally got the internet and I had access to the information superhighway that I found out that Final Fantasy Mystic Quest was actually released to be like an introduction game for younger people or for those that had like no real experience in RPGs. It was also meant to be very simplified in order to, I guess, really pique people's interest in RPGs. Because I know, particularly here in the West, like when video games first started out, and I should say, like, during the Super Nintendo years, RPGs weren't that popular. It was definitely like, games like Dragon Quest, which ended up being Dragon Warrior here in the States, was way more popular in Japan. They're just like way more into that stuff. So the percentage of people that were into RPGs was very minuscule. Most people were into like the action platformers or adventure type games. So it was my understanding from reading stuff. I mean, it could be false articles or it's a little bit of misinformation. I mean, yeah, somebody lie on the internet. No, never happened. But I guess SquareSoft made this to actually like be an intro for people to kind of get into RPGs. Now, funny enough, the first RPG that I had ever played was Dragon Warrior, and it wasn't until like I was playing it with my buddy Mike that I got into it. I remember I got my copy through my subscription in Nintendo Power, because back in March of '91, it was like when you subscribed around that time period, it was one of the things that they gave you, was you had a free game pack of Dragon Warrior. So that was how I actually got Dragon Warrior. So like that was my first experience with RPG, and then as I remember correctly, like I've said in great detail, like the winter of '91 was like he had his Super Nintendo, he got Final Fantasy II for Christmas, and we spent a better part of our Christmas break like playing that game. I was watching him, and I was enthralled, like just like totally like taken back by the storyline, and it was really cool. That's why. I'm not RPGs are probably my least favorite genre, but my favorite game is an RPG, so it's very funny. So he didn't get this. He got this in the summer of '93. So I mean, I've got a lot of like really great memories of playing this, because I actually borrowed this from him because I thought that it might be a continuation of Final Fantasy II, just like an offshoot, and it had nothing to do with it. But I mean, yeah, what a great memories of the summer of '93. I was 15 years old, and I was just actually telling this story to somebody not all that long ago. That was the first and only summer that I did the typical like teenage thing where I stayed up till 4 in the morning and slept till 2 in the afternoon. Like, it was just, I think every teen kind of goes through that really weird kind of phase where they have that like at least for me, it only lasted one summer. I know of people now that's how they live their life. I mean, they'll stay up till 4 in the morning, sleep till 2 in the afternoon, shit like that. And it's like, damn, anymore. If I sleep past 8 o'clock, I feel like I've wasted the day. But yeah, that was definitely the memories of that summer. That and how oppressively hot it was that summer. It was so hot. Oh man, I remember just like, that was before we ever had our air conditioners or anything like that. It was brutal. Just totally brutal. But yeah, I borrowed this from him that summer, and I remember just sitting in my bedroom playing this, and remembering it was, it's a very basic, like, bare bones RPG. Let's go ahead and take this out here. This is a cool cover of a game, but I will admit the Super Famicom cover is so much cooler. I love the animation on it. Just the kind of little Japanime guy holding the sword. And the pose, everything is the exact same. Just the Famicom version is a little more cartoony. But it was just a really, really cool game. And you only ever had 2 characters. You had your main character, and then, like, obviously different people that you would pick up along the way. One would leave and one would stay. But it was just really cool. And the battle system, it was so basic. I mean, it was looking back, it was such an easy game to follow. The box itself is actually it's pretty good shape too. But as a kid, if I'd ever bothered actually reading that, I mean, set entry-level role-playing adventure, free strategy guide offer, backup saves up to 3 games. All right, well, let's open this bad boy up and take a look at the contents. Okay, there's everything there. Okay, there's the, that's the strategy guide send away. Highly doubt that this is valid anymore. Take a look at the cart, actually. Nice clean label. I always love it too, having games that have this design. I just love this design over the notch that came. Which, like I said, I understand why they did it, but I love that look better on the games. Which I understand, like later games, you can't get them with this. But and here we have the map of the overworld. And this literally is just the map. And here's the list of all the different places where you'll start off and where you'll think where you end up. I know it was released in '92, but I remember him getting it in '93. Yeah, very cool. And then here we have the fairly hefty instruction booklet. That's why I did love the design of the Super Nintendo's instruction manuals were they were so much more sturdy, I think. They were just thicker and they felt better than the Nintendo. A lot of the Nintendo ones, I mean, I think it was maybe just because it only had the single staple, but I mean, these were a booklet. I mean, definitely made for some good shitter reading material. The contents. And the story. So I recall it was a pretty in-depth story. I remember like playing it and wondering if I was going to run into Golbez or Cecil or anybody from Final Fantasy II. But much to my dismay, there was none of those characters in that. I remember when Final Fantasy III was released, or after hearing about Final Fantasy III, wondering if it was a continuation of 2. And as I recall, when I was disappointed when I found out the character would... But that's what's interesting is all of the Final Fantasies, at least to my knowledge, none of them have characters that are... I guess each story is kind of indicative of its own game, I think. If I'm wrong, please correct me. I don't know if characters have spilled over, like, you know, a character from one series has been in another. It'd be interesting to find out. What I thought was interesting with this too, in terms of like the battle, was it wasn't like a random generated battle where you were walking along and then all of a sudden, boom, an enemy came upon you. There were icons, and each one, I believe, had 10 monster battles in them. And you would fight all 10 and it would clear it out. You would never... So essentially you could beat every monster in the game. And I remember I did actually... the first time playing this, I did actually 100% it in terms of beating all of the monsters. It was because like there was no randomization. Tips on saving. Yep, save your progress frequently. Yeah, here they were. You would come across these. And you would, like I said, there was typically about 10 of them, I think. You would go through 10 times, you click on that 10 times, and then it would clear itself out. And I think there were some of you couldn't progress to the next area until you actually cleared it out. I think. A few different items. I did sit down to play this actual copy when I first had bought this. I want to say received it, but no, I didn't get it. I bought it. Wow, this is already turned out to be a pretty long video. All the different weapons. Armors, shields. As I remember correctly, too, you got something special for clearing out an area of monsters, I believe. I think, too, this was also, like, you could jump, like, when you were in the overworld sections, like, you could jump, you could use your sword and your axe, because there were things like trees and whatnot that you could chop down, grass, like, blades of grass. Even though this was basic, too, I mean, the graphics in it were fairly decent. I mean, it was basic, but it was fun. You know, it looked nice. It was a fun game. Ooh, here we go. Advice from the mystical elders of Square. Always talk to everyone you meet. Save your game often to speed your progress. Why backtrack when you don't have to? Of course. Oh. Call the game counselors. 206-861-0303. Remember, kids, get your parents' permission before you call. All right. Well, there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed my unboxing of Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Certainly a little bit of a longer unboxing, just due in large part to the the instruction manual being so so hefty. But hope you guys enjoyed it, and honestly hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. We got, what, I think 3 weeks till Christmas. I've actually got a couple of special unboxings for Christmas, and when I do them, I'll explain why they're special to me. So until said time, you guys have a great day, and I will catch you on the next video. See ya.